Hello and welcome back to Hammond's Upholstery. This is part 3 of the antique reclining Parker Knoll chair. It's a bit later in the day, I've been busy this morning, so it's not first thing, but not much changed. I've been done a couple of the collections. I'll speak that out. So let's take a walk through and see what's going on. Tacker's in his happy place, he's in the van for now. Anyway. Okay, so cushions. Got a pair of cushion fills waiting to go to the customer. We have a window seat cushion in Utopia's Garden Treasures. That's in the crocodile one. That's ready to be collected. I believe she's coming in tomorrow morning to collect that. I've been and collected this bariatric chair. That's going to be done in a crib 7 vinyl because of the location it's going into. We have this patchwork sofa and stool that I've been and collected as well. So they've all come in this morning. We've still got these 2 dining chairs there to be covered. The fabric's in for them now. The seat pads need replacing in their entirety. A leather seat repair, and these 2 chairs. Again, that's in a printed fabric, so I'm waiting for that to come in. So here we are, back with the recliner. As you saw in the last episode, we got the base done there, and there's the seat unit. The seat unit's not in because, if I remember rightly, I can't get the seat unit until the back's attached to it, otherwise it makes life very difficult. So I've been busy this morning. I haven't recorded it because, quite frankly, it's just me sat at the sewing machine, which isn't exciting for anybody. But here's the back templates that we got. I modified it slightly, I'll explain that in a minute. So that's basically the back there. So that's the inside back. Throw that out of the way. This is the outside back with all its flies on it to pull that through, etc. They'd slip stitched the back closed. I've modified it, I've put a zip in it just so I can pre-install the back, check everything's okay before I put the buttons through. This has a buttons for it, so the cover's not really removable once it's on because of the buttons, but the zip will allow me to put perhaps some additional stuff in the lumbar if the customer so wishes. But more to the point, whilst I'm installing it, I can Luxbond this up, check it fits, and then when I'm happy I'll put the buttons through. So we have the cover cut and sewn here. You can see the zip along this edge here. We've got the pattern centralised, so it should line up with the seat. And these are all the additional flies that are oversized at the moment. So that goes around the wing, it goes through the back, etc. So it's quite a fussy thing to make. We got these pleats that are in it for the buttons to mimic deep buttoning. And there we go. Excuse me, I think I'm going to sneeze. No, maybe not. So I need to Luxbond this up, give this a coat of Luxbond, and then we'll get that put into the back and zipped up. If I'm happy with how that comes out, then I can make the buttons. You can join me at that point, so I'll be back very shortly. Okay, so that's the back stuffed. Like I said, I've just given that back a couple of good wraps with Luxbond. And it's filled out quite nicely, so that's fine. We've got to be careful, we don't want to overstuff it, we don't want to make the back really firm and therefore uncomfortable for the customer in question. So I'm happy with that. So this is the back part, and then that's the inside back. So all this fly that I've got hold of is what wraps over, makes the wings, etc. Top rail. I'm not going to put the buttons in it, like I said, until I've got this onto the back frame, and then I'm happy with it, then I'll pull the buttons through. So because if I have to do any alterations, theoretically if I need to stuff out a corner or something, I can do that whilst it's on the frame, but it's very difficult whilst the buttons are in there. So just spin you around and we'll have a go at seeing how this is going to fit. 15-20 minutes before I need to go out and do a quote, so let's have a go. Okay, so there was no canvas or anything, we've got sprung edge on here on this frame, so let's lay this on with the flies going through where they need to go through. So far, so good. I'm not going to be able to staple this off at the moment, simply because my compressor isn't charged, but I can lay it on and see how things are fitting. I'm very pleased with that so far. All looks good. Now the fly at the top needs cutting to go between the springs, so I just do that. The bottom doesn't need it, the top does. Needs to come down so that I can get this compresses a bit and then stapled onto here. So that sort of governs a little bit where the back finishes, or the top of the back, sorry. I tend to get my words in a mucking fuddle from time to time. Sure, appreciate that. So let's get these pulled off, and that we'll do for today. Quite a productive day. Yes, going around and collecting furniture counts as production. Nicely. One more cut should do it. Let's put this right back. Position. Okay. Good. So, got a full day tomorrow in the workshop. I've got to go and do any collections or deliveries. So tomorrow I should be able to get this completed. So that gives you an idea what's going on. The lines are all over the place, but they're going to be over the place, and especially once I put the buttons in it. It's, you know, I'm not sure of it, but it is cut square, and the buttonholes that are punched through on the fronts line up with the ones on the back, so they're a little bit straighter. So that's about as far as I'm going to go with this at this moment in time. Like I say, I've got to go and do a collection. Everything seems to be okay. I think that back does need to come down. Get those wings over. Yeah, definitely. for another day. Okay, so when I come back, it'll be the moulding. Okay, so we're back. Where am I? Yeah, so anyway, the back is done per se. It's on the frame as you saw in the last video. So now we're just going to make the buttons. So hence the weird camera angle is so that you can see what I'm going on with making the buttons. You may have seen this before. This is sometimes they're referred to as a handy button machine. This one's from Pt3. You can pick them up relatively cheaply if you want to make your own buttons. But the materials, sundries are going up, the button molds and so on. So anyway, I've only got to make 10 of them, 9 exactly, but I always make a spare one anyway. So let's get on with this. Cup of tea's on the go. Excuse me if my head's out of shot. But I think you're more interested in the buttons at this point. So we've got some fabric remnants here. I've just rolled them up so they're about the width of the die or the cutter. This makes the blanks. So the cover that cuts, or the cover that covers the button. They come in various sizes. This is a pretty standard size that I'm using here. I think it's 24s, 26s, okay. So you can use the button machine itself to cut these out with, but I happen to have a small press. Okay. So that's them cut out. Old-fashioned 2p piece size. Not entirely sure what that would be anywhere else. So the buttons consist, in this particular case, of a wire loop. So that's the bottom of the button, and then we got a aluminium top of the button. Okay, so bottom of the button goes in that portion of the mould. The fabric goes into this mould here, die here. Fabric face down. And then cap is pushed into the die, onto there. Swift pull, and then we have our button. There you go. As for the pattern, I'm going to do it random on these. You can pick where you want to cover your buttons. That's entirely up to yourself, but I like to do them random on something like this, because otherwise if they don't all match exactly, then that can draw the eye more than round body buttons, and the majority of people understand or expect buttons to be random. So just about see me if I bend over. So I get these made, and then I'll come back to you when I'm putting them into the back of the back, I suppose. So we'll be back very soon. Okay, so back with the buttons. Buttons made. These are the buttons that are going to go on the face. I'm just going to use some buttons that were left over from a previous job that are going to go on the outside back. So I've got my buttons, my button needle. This is a double-ended one, as you can see here. We've got the sharp point on both ends, and there's a hole through. And then our buttoning twine, nylon buttoning twine, very strong. So let's start off. Thread a button onto our twine, and this is going to go through the back. Hopefully you can see this. The holes are already punched through. Marker so I know they're in the right place, and there's a hole on the back, so I've just got to get my buttoning needle through this hole at the back and to go through the corresponding hole on the outside back, which is not helped by all this felt that's been put over the strings here. One. So I'll just put the buttons or the twines through all the holes to start with, and then I can put buttons on the back, put a slip knot on it, and pull the buttons tight, but not overly tight, because I don't want to flatten this back off in its entirety. Tight enough to hold. So 9 of these to do. Let's crack on, get these done. Okay, so last button going in now. Turn it over and pull these buttons down. One at a time. I'm going to put the button on, simple slip knot, 2 strings, hold in one hand, round through, round through, round through 3 times, and we've got a long string and a short string. Yeah, 2 strings, check it's free, pinch between thumb and forefinger, round through, round through, round through, pull down. I was an apprentice doing Chesterfield tub sofas. You'd have to be able to do that not blind, so a lot of the time you couldn't see where your hands were. Prove the point, or shut my eyes. There you go. We'll give them a name check. I used to work for a company called Guildhall Furniture back in the day in a place called Sudbury in Suffolk. With some great guys. I learnt a lot there. Not just about upholstery. Unfortunately, the company went into liquidation. Right, so that's all the buttons in and held into place. Now, do I think they need pulling down a little bit? I may give them a little bit give them a pull, and then we put a lock knot on once we've got them into position. So, next part of the job is the outside back. Like I said, because this is a reclining chair, the outside, this back is basically upholstered as an individual item, and then they all come together on the action. We recline the chair, so I need to get the outside back on this, and then hopefully don't have any issues attaching it to the frame. Where it's got to be attached to the seat, then that goes in, there's a hole into the frame, and then the final piece to go on will be this skirt, for want of a better word, that just conceals the opening created when the chair reclines. That's that. So I've just got to gather these all up. All the long ones, which let's give it a bit of a twist. Put a knot in there. Don't need to do it. It's something I've always done. There you go. There's my old outside back for template, so I can see what's going on. Here's the old outside back. So right, so this outside back was just, like I said, it was slip stitched on. There wasn't any piping round the back or anything like that. I'm not going to slip stitch it. I'm going to use the metal claw which you seen me use before, this one here. So I'm going to run this claw around this edge and get the outside back on, and that's the bulk of the job done. So I'll come back to you once I've got this outside back on. But in the meantime, fast off. Time for a cup of tea. Get this cut and on, and we're almost there with this job. These things take the time, but you can't really rush through them because I don't have templates or patterns for this. Anyway, let's get on with the outside back. Okay, so that's the outside back done on this. There you go, you can see it matches over the top there. And attached to the seat. Now, that locates, I'll show you. These here locate on these hooks here, and then the front fixing is via this arm that goes up and into the seat. Okay, so yeah, I've got to get that into there without damaging any of this fabric. That's next. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that up on the trestles, so I'll sweep the floor, put a couple of blankets down, and then give this a go, because it's not going to do it itself, is it? Wish me luck. Well, that was hard work. I had to take my hoodie off and make a contraption, because two of the screws are extremely difficult to get to. But it's on. Let me show you. Right, the back's on. Hooray. Locating those pins was trickier than I thought to be. The stripe's pretty good match there down the outside back and the arm and wing over the top here, so I'm pleased with that. It's come out well. I've just got to do this flap on the back now. Let me show you that now. I've just got to make that. Now this literally goes here so that it covers this, okay, and pulled over underneath, so I think it goes about there. So I need to make that up, attach that, and the chair is done. But for all intents and purposes for this video, the thing is there. Oh, this is what I had to do to my drill driver so I could get a screw that was, or two screws that were well and truly buried there. So there you go. Need some long drill bits. I've then got to, once this is done, I'm going to be cracking on with these seats that have just come in. So there you go, all intents and purposes it's done. You can see that. So antique Parker Knoll reclining chairs, rocking reclining chairs I might add. Not one of the easiest recliners that I've ever done, but it's done. It's the third time I believe this has been reupholstered, and possibly I think it's the best looking version of it. The other times it's just plain velvet, green and a light olive. So anyway, a bit more of a talking point when anybody goes into the room. So I think it looks smashing. As always, these videos are purely to show you what's going on in the workshop. Not necessarily meant to be instructional, but if you pick up any hints and tips along the way, or you learn something, always good. We're happy with that. So please like and share. Be interesting to see what your comments say regarding the fabric on this. What do you think of it? Is it something that you would have in your house? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, thanks again for watching. Cheerio. Bye bye.